Caspian, and actually quite a bit has happened in the last 10 days or so since I posted a blog, or at least a few interesting things. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. First one, there's another production blog at Narnia.com. This will be the fourth one, and it's about storyboarding, and there isn't really anything all that interesting in it, or anything. I mean, I'm always interested in the process of filmmaking, and they kind of talk about how storyboarding works. It's interesting, and but as far as Narnia goes, the only interesting thing in here are these three pictures, these three storyboards. The first one is a boy with black hair, apparently, kicking a boy with lighter hair, apparently, and it looks as if there's a sword stuck into a tree. There's a couple possibilities. It looks like it could be Caspian fighting Edmund, maybe, or Peter. Maybe instead of Trumpkin, fighting Edmund, maybe Caspian fights Edmund or something. I don't know. I hope not. Or maybe they talked about in the last production, or the last production vlog, about how there's more antagonism between the kings and queens of Caspian and the Pevensies. And could it be they actually have a fight? Ooh, that makes me pretty nervous. That'd be pretty bad. And so, but I'm not really sure what I'm looking at here when I look at that. There's another one here. It appears to be Caspian on a horse, and he's looking back, and he's looking at another rider. The rider appears to have a bow and arrow in his hand, but you can't really tell. And I guess we can assume this is Caspian because he's on his horse, if they stay faithful to the book. Caspian is fleeing the castle, Miraz's castle, and apparently the rumors are true that he is pursued into the woods, which is something we heard about, or it was rumored a long time ago, and a lot of people have speculated about that anyway. But that's kind of all there is to say about it. The next one is a drawbridge, which looks which has these figures on riders coming out of it. I guess this must be the Telmarine Castle, would assume. And that's pretty much all the interesting stuff right there. And basically, these suggest more deviations from the book. We're not sure exactly what they are, but these definitely seem to suggest that, which is pretty disturbing, annoying, whatever. But so that's it for the fourth production blog. There's also a Narnia.com has a fan art contest. I'm not going to be entering. I'm no good at that kind of thing, but be interesting to see how that works out. And Prince Caspian's going to be at Comic-Con. Cool. And there's some more casting news, and I'm going to butcher this name. The first name I think is Predrag, and the last name, his real hard part, Bejlac. It's Bjelac. Maybe the B is silent. Maybe it's just Jalek. But anyway, he's playing the role of Lord Donnan. Who's Lord Donnan? Well, I don't know. We never heard of him. But this guy here also played the role of Karkaroff in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire movie, which is one of those things that annoys me. I don't like it when they get, but maybe his role will be small anyway. And he's not even in the book anyway, so I guess that doesn't really matter anyway. But this is yet another. There's a lot of lords, it seems, that they're adding that aren't in the book. And there's been a couple, lords that we've gotten, but none of them are the lords mentioned or that they're searching for in Voyage of the Dawn Treader. And so either for whatever reason they're saving those casting announcements, or they're not going to be in Prince Caspian at all. For some reason, I just kind of thought even though they aren't actually in the book, they're only mentioned. For some reason, their names aren't actually mentioned in Caspian, but you hear about them. I kind of thought they would, in the movie, want to set up Dawn Treader more than in the book. I don't know if I agree with that necessarily, but for some reason I thought they would want to do that. And yet we haven't seen any casting announcements for the lords that actually are mentioned in the book, except for Glizel and Sepespine, of course. But so who is this guy, Donnan? Maybe he's involved with Glizel somehow. Maybe there's a whole subplot where Glizel wants to betray Miraz. I don't know what they're gonna do, but that's all I can think this guy would be. I mean, is he a good guy or a bad guy? All we have is his name, Lord Donnan. He's not in the book, so all we can do is guess. But So all kinds of, so it's just our imaginations. We can speculate all day on that one. So more casting announcements, always exciting. And then we are at the big story of the week. Voyage of the Dawn Treader will begin filming in January. Yes, that's January 2008. As in, that's less than 6 months away. And, which I can't believe. This really should not surprise me, I guess, but it is. Just the fact that it's happening so soon, and I mean, you think about this for a second. This means that we might, kind of unlikely, but it's possible we'll get major casting announcements for Dawn Treader before we even see a trailer for Prince Caspian. That is incredible to me, to think that there'd be that much going on. Like, I mean, as it is now, it's like, oh wow, there's so much big news. You know, this is one of the most exciting parts, and you know, you're getting to see pictures and casting announcements, and you know, now storyboards and all this cool stuff. But that's gonna be nothing compared to what's coming. When you've got a trailer coming out, and soon thereafter or soon before we'll get, like, you know, a Eustace announcement. That's incredible. And I'm wondering if we at Narnia even have the staff to keep up with it. You know, we'll see. But there's quite a storm coming. This is the deep breath before the plunge, as Gandalf put it. But they do seem to be in quite a hurry to get Dawn Treader done, which makes me nervous. I really wish they would just slow down. It's okay. History has shown that when you wait a few years between your movies, it's okay. You don't have to keep all this momentum. In fact, I think history has also shown that it's probably good to have kind of a break between movies. You know? And, I mean, you look at, like, Spider-Man, you know, they were still, all three of them, even though there was a lot of criticism towards the third one, all three of them were extremely successful films, and there's no denying that. And, so I really don't think there's any need to be in such a rush. I mean, even with the children's ages, I think, like, you know, yeah, I mean, I feel like they're kind of cutting corners here, big time, but I think more than is necessary. And so I am still a little concerned about that. But that's basically all the news that, all the big news that's out so far. The big one, Dawn Treader filming in January, is just amazing. And it's hard to believe that in 6 months we might be getting some spy pictures from the set. We'll probably have some kind of concept art of the Dawn Treader, or, you know, Deathwater or something like that. Like, that's just amazing to think. And once again, anytime there's news about Dawn Treader, I really find myself looking ahead. And, you know, I think Prince Caspian will probably... I'm really leaning more towards... I'm really not... My expectations for Prince Caspian are a little bit lower, I think, overall. It's not my favorite book. And I don't really see that much potential for it even as a movie, and it looks like they made some big deviations from the book. And so right now, my expectations are fairly low, like lower than they were for Wardrobe at least. But Dawn Treader, I'm really excited about. Anytime, I said this before, anytime a piece of news of Dawn Treader comes out, I get really excited. But that's all the news I have right now. 328 days to go until the Prince Caspian. I may have to start a Dawn Treader. Might have to start including a Dawn Treader countdown with these pretty soon, which is amazing. So please reread the books. You know, they're coming out pretty fast. So I'm in the middle of rereading The Horse and His Boy at the moment, and so I would encourage you to read them as well. Every time I go through them, I find new things. And for all, of course, you can always email me, glumpuddle@narniaweb.com, or you can post a comment. You can subscribe to these videos. And, of course, for all the latest Narnia movie news, narniaweb.com is the #1 source and the most reliable, up-to-date Narnia news.